Three, two, one, boom. We are live. So welcome to the 13th episode of the UnCut Theory Podcast. So I'm not gonna start with that,
Yep.
my everyday lingo, you can sort of say. Every episode lingo. Like, oh, I cannot believe this is...
I can't believe it's the 13th episode of the UnCut Theory Podcast.
Yeah. So I won't
It's
be
so
starting...
surreal.
I won't be starting this episode with that. There's a word for that. You know, advertisements used to have like this crazy one-liners which are like super popular. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's called as something. I think jargon is the word.
No, jargon is like spitting stuff out. I'm pretty sure. Like
What's the word?
word
for
vomit
that?
or something like that.
Yeah. Jargon is
No,
different. Jargon
is like word vomit.
No, not
vomit.
Not that necessarily. In our field, if you like talk a lot about some fancy stuff, when somebody asks you what are you doing, you're like, oh, I'm doing bootstrap, I'm doing this. You're like, you're using a bunch of technical jargons. That's when we use that word.
Buzzwords.
But there was this thing like. But anyways, let's just keep that aside. Let's just run down this particular episode. So what shall we talk about today? Any suggestions?
Again, like the thing that you were mentioning before our podcast.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
so
what is like
give the audience a little
setup.
context. Yeah.
Sure thing. So some of my relatives are visiting, like they live in the States and they're currently planning a visit to India. And like they are saying, oh, do you want anything from the States? And I was like, they basically said anything like electronics. Of course, not like something very bulky, like electronics, shoes, clothes, etc. Candies, etc. And like candies are given. Candies and chocolates are given. Again, like US candies and stuff. Again, I would say chocolate in US is pretty bad. Like Hershey's, I'm not particularly a fan of Hershey's. I love Kisses a lot.
I think in India,
again,
it's like very overrated when somebody visits you from outside. People are like, oh, which chocolates are you bringing? It's like, are you sure about that? Because there are like so many better things than chocolate.
Again, like it used to be a luxury, like I would say
20 years back.
ago, but now you can actually buy almost everything.
Yeah, not even like 10 years ago. Like I think we have like Manish Agency very near to our house. That guy has like everything.
Again, you should not have said that. You probably need to like censor.
Blur. Okay, I'll blur the name.
Not blur. You have to censor that.
Yeah, I'll blur my mouth.
Yeah.
But why do you think I shouldn't have said that name?
Again, like it's pretty giving. Like it gives away our location very.
No, it doesn't.
Let's just not mention it. Okay, sure. We have.
I thought you
supermarket chain. Okay, fuck it. There's a supermarket chain in Delhi. It's Manish Agency, and they have a lot of imported goods.
Yeah.
Especially the candy stuff. Anything related to candies, sodas, and what else?
Everything. Like but I'm still kind of like disappointed
you can
because
almost buy like stuff like Twix. Twix is one of my favorite chocolate bars from the US. There is Twix, there is Kisses, there is Hershey's. What else? See,
my favorite is Tim Tam, and nothing even sits close.
Again,
like,
that's
I'm not
Australian.
Even kidding.
That's like Australian. That's Australia's bread and butter. Like Vegemite and Tim Tams are basically Australia's national food.
Yeah, Vegemite with avocado toast. It's like
again, but
it's like oats and cereals, kind of like the way Americans do it with oats and cereals. Like, what are you having for breakfast? It's like Vegemite with avocado toast. It's like every day they'll have it. It's like whatever.
Again, it's just staple in Australia.
But I don't know. Like, there's just so many better things out of which Indians are just crazy about, like chocolates. It's like, dude, if somebody's coming from outside, like I would rather have like a list of 20 things that I want to buy, electronics and a bunch of that kind of stuff.
Again,
so
I'm saying this because it's sort of like a tradition whenever they come. Because again, when we were kids, the best thing you can give a kid is a bunch of
The
candies.
chocolate, yeah, for sure, 100%.
Yeah, it was either Reese's Pieces or
Hey,
what
but
else?
listen. They have Tim Tams in the
Yeah.
US too. They don't have
of
in
course
Canada.
they sell Tim Tams.
Yeah, they have in US too. I think they are available at Walmart. I'm almost
course,
99% certain that it is available at Walmart. Yeah, and you were talking about electronics, right? So
Yep.
I haven't told people about it. It's kind of like a funny conversation. Then I'll get onto his, stuff that he was talking about. It's kind of a bit weird, especially in like the tech spectrum side of things. There's like everything coming out. Like I was just talking to him the other day. We were at a mall with a bunch of school friends last week. So we visited the Apple store. It was not like any official Apple store because we don't have any official Apple store in India. It's like uni days and a bunch of stuff. So basically that Apple store had a 16-inch MacBook Pro. That's my favorite Apple product, and if I were to spend money on Apple ever, I'll just grab a MacBook, that's it. But that particular day we saw iPhone 14 Pro, and I was talking to him and I was like, iPhone 14 Pro, the normal iPhone 14 Pro, not the Pro Max. I was talking to him and I was like, oh, this looks like a decent phone. It's better than S22, and of course it's debatable. Samsung people would be like, oh, S22 is better, but I'm just saying. And now Pixel 7 Pro just came out, and I was like, Pixel 7 Pro is so much more better than that. And there's like kind of like this thing with, especially with tech, I'm really into tech. So the reason why I'm specifying this is I have made a full table, a database inside of Notion, where I've written everything that I want to buy. So I'm kind of like opening that wish list. I'll try my best to like insert a screenshot of it right on the screen for you guys. Maybe the screen record itself. So I have...
So what you're going to do, share the screen?
Yeah, I will share the screen for you over here, and they will see my screen. Like, I'll just put it in the edited video. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
So I hope my screen is visible. That's the reason I was mentioning it. Yeah, sure, 100%.
Yeah,
just
so
wait
you
a second.
have here...
Because I'm using the trackpad of my laptop, not my mouse, because this doesn't have like that stuff plugged in. Anyways, so what I've done with this particular Notion database is I have the price of everything, what I want to buy, whether it's like a one-time purchase, yearly subscription, whatever that sits in. And I have made this priority list, and I recommend people, especially who are like really into tech space, make this priority list where you have the priority like requirement, important, not required, and optional. I only go for the stuff that is like required by me, and that's it. There's like so much stuff that's like optional. So I have stuff over here. Now you can browse anything that you wish to have in your life. You can just go through this list.
Again, the thing that I want to know, why would you buy... The only thing that stands out in this list, why would you buy a Blue Yeti? Because you already have a USB microphone that's on par with the Blue Yeti.
It's like Blue Yeti or something along the range, which is like 10,000 rupees, or I would say $130, $150.
Again, like if I have that amount of budget, I would just buy like an XLR, like XLR mic, like hands down.
For sure. But my thing with this list is like you can go through this list and see what you can buy. And that's the reason when you were talking to me before podcast, I was like, this is a good moment to show the Notion database. So you can go through it and you can tell me to kind of like scroll down and stuff. Some of them are like
Spotify
really personal.
Premium.
Yeah. This is a huge luxury
really
for me.
Out.
I think about it, it's like $100 here in India. It's like, it's very cheap here in India. It's like 200 rupees a month, 100 rupees a month, something like that.
Why would you buy Spotify?
Because I want to feel rich. Like that's the only reason. Like
sure.
Yeah.
Like if that's the reason, I don't have like, again, whenever I see people using Spotify for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Like I kind of laugh to myself because I have so many alternatives to Spotify that are free, absolutely free, and you have like much larger, let's just say, music catalog, let's just say.
For sure. 100%.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about SoundCloud and stuff. Yeah, I'm basically it's a mix between SoundCloud, YouTube, basically YouTube Music.
Yeah, also
in one app. I think I've showed you that app.
For sure. I have a friend of mine and he uses Amazon Prime Music, and he was talking to me the other day. He's like, do you have a Prime subscription? I was like, for sure, everybody has one these days. And he was like, why do you even use Spotify then? Use just Amazon Prime Music. Like, it's free, no ads, nothing. I was like, the guy has a legitimate point. Why am I even using
Again,
Spotify?
like Amazon Prime, what are the Prime prices in like US and stuff?
I think everything that's like 100 something rupees here in India is like $9.99 in US. It's like standard for everything. $9.99 in US. And here
I
we
think
have
it's
like
$19 something. Let me just
make a quick Google search,
look.
because stuff like that is like so much cheaper here in India. The Spotify subscription in the States is like $10. It's like $9.99 or $4.99, whereas in India it's like 130 rupees. So that's
okay,
like
so
$2, less than $2. Yeah.
again, like in you can buy Prime in
Mhm.
India
Mhm.
for 179 rupees per month.
Per month, and if you buy like yearly plan for that settles into be a little cheaper even. And I can use
Yep, of
educational
course.
discount, so that's even cheaper than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but in the US you have
Uh-huh.
like per month for like
Mhm.
new members and stuff, it's
Uh-huh.
$14.99.
$14.99. See the difference between
like
100.
It's
10
like
times the
almost
difference.
10 times cheaper. Yeah, almost
Yeah,
10
exactly.
times cheaper.
Exactly. So you can come back to my screen if you wish to. If you have anything else to talk about, I can minimize it for a second.
Again, like
You can
I
go
don't
through the
see-
stuff. It's like a bunch of Adobe apps that I want to buy. I don't use After Effects right now, but I just want to buy it, so I just wrote it over here. But it's like a yearly subscription thing, and it sits to be like very
Okay,
expensive. So
you will buy YouTube Premium.
yeah, not to like get rid of ads and stuff, to like support creators and stuff, because YouTube Premium pays a hefty amount to creator economy, if you know what I'm saying.
Again, like sure, like even YouTube Premium is pretty cheap in India.
Yeah,
Very
it's
very
like-
cheap in India.
I
In
don't know, it's
fact, it's like a very known hack
Mhm.
in like the States or like the North American stuff, where people would just
Uh-huh.
use VPN to connect to, especially like Steam. Like people, because the cheapest you can buy Steam
Uh-huh.
games, like there's a huge markup.
Yeah, I know
again,
that.
like in the States, if it's a new game, again you're gonna pay $60 for that game.
Yeah, that's like standard for
That's
any.
like standard.
Yeah.
Even $60 is kind of like dissolving and stuff, because like they are increasing the markups, especially for games that don't have any sort of microtransactions,
Yeah.
like single player games and stuff that
Yeah.
have no online connection, no online services, and
Mhm.
that do not have any sort of like DLC or like microtransactions. Like they, especially again, people are pretty adamant about just paying $60, because that's like the industry standard since before the 2000s, I would say.
For sure.
It has been
100%.
$60 for the longest time.
Yeah.
And
But considering inflation and stuff, $60 should have
yeah,
risen in
it's
prices.
a little bit low. I like
Comparing
even
in
as
like
like
this
a gamer,
long range of
I would
time
say
and like this
$60.
time.
But
yeah.
again, like they make their margins through like microtransactions and DLC and stuff.
For sure.
And
100%.
even then, you have stuff like pre-ordering, collector's editions, deluxe edition, stuff like
yeah,
that.
of course. And also
Which can
DLC
go-
and stuff.
Yeah, which can go from anywhere from like $100 to $200.
Easy. Like, yeah. Every game almost has it these days.
Yeah,
And
almost
that's
every
when
game.
you don't take microtransactions into consideration. Microtransactions can go as high
Again,
as they
like
want.
again, bringing back Genshin Impact into the mix. Genshin Impact is entirely a free game.
Yeah. Entirely a free game, yeah.
I have seen people. I'm not just talking about like
Mhm.
people in the States or like North America, outside India. I have seen
Mhm.
people in India, here in India, my
Mhm.
friends from college, X to
Mhm.
Y Z, anywhere, who play
Mhm.
Genshin Impact, who I know
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
They have paid more than $60 on that game. More than $60.
That's
in
kind
India.
of absurd, because not a lot of people pay money for games. Like even the games
Yeah,
that people
because
play, it's like mostly cracked and stuff.
even though games are ultra cheap compared to US, like
Oh yeah.
ultra
100%.
cheap on Steam,
Yeah.
and even like Epic Games and stuff, they are ultra cheap compared to let's just say US and stuff.
Yeah, that's
So
the
a
reason
lot of people-
Yeah, exactly. I was coming on to that.
A lot of
only.
people use VPNs and like
Mhm.
proxy services to buy games from like either Russia or India. They
It's mostly
avoid
India
Russia
because Russian.
Yeah,
Because of
because
exactly.
Russian. Because a lot of games only. Again, you can change the language, but it's almost the same price, and you can just again it's the ease of access because it's all in English. Because
Exactly.
I don't think there are any games with like Hindi dubbing or subtitles on Steam.
For sure.
I highly
100%.
doubt it. Even games that are made by indie developers from India are mostly in English.
Yeah. Yeah, talking about English and stuff, it kind of like freaks me out to think about it. India sits in a very weird spot as comparison to most of the world cultures and where we are heading. Think about it for a second. Like, I was going through IELTS exam stuff the other day, what are the requirements, blah, blah, blah. So they were like, you're exempted from the IELTS test if you were born in either the US or Canada or Australia, New Zealand. I think Singapore was also there on the list, and UK and Ireland. These were all the countries. And I was like, that's it? That's all the English speaking countries?
Again, these are like the number of states that you have named are basically all let's just say the major powers of the world, let's just say, in terms of tech and education and stuff.
Yeah, but that's it. It's like 5-6 countries, that's it.
Again, India is the largest English speaking nation, no doubt about it. But I would say English is more prevalent in the south than
sure.
here. It's way more prevalent in the south than in north. And if I compare, like, again, people, you can talk to almost anybody. Even on like somebody who is not even literate, he can basically understand. If you're a foreigner coming to India, again, you probably won't get your point. Like if you're trying to like a rickshaw driver and stuff, you probably won't get your point across, but he will fully like somewhat understand what you mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So
Also,
again, like
most of the words that we use in Hindi and our regular conversation in Hindi,
is
and
like,
I was just kind of like listening to myself because like I'll start my Hindi channel from next Wednesday. So I was listening to myself and I was like, most of the stuff that I say in Hindi has words of English in it. So I'm not purely speaking Hindi.
Like I made a comparison. Like of course I started recording and stuff, and I started noticing when I like was recording for my personal channel, which is currently dead in the water. But leaving that aside,
you can revive it. Press F to revive.
Press F to revive. Again,
and
like,
hold it for 3 videos. That's it.
Shut up, dude. Okay, keeping that aside, I had a lot of outtakes, a lot of them, because I was new. I'm basically very new at this stuff. He's been doing for like quite a while, so he's pretty good at it. I'm not, and especially the first few videos were like 3 or 4 minutes in length, and my outtakes were like the whole audio file was half an hour, which was pretty bad. For sure. And when I took that into consideration, I would get frustrated a lot in those videos because like I could not complete a sentence without laughing or something like that.
The frustration is a different thing, but the very first experience, and I had it to an extreme, I would say, listening to your own self and watching your own self. Yeah, it's an acquired skill.
It's 100% an acquired
skill. You will 100% cringe. I'm not even kidding. If you make any video on YouTube, just try it for yourself. Just make one video out of experiment. Just don't upload it. Make it private, make it unlisted. Do what you wish to. Just record one video. Sit with your smartphone. You don't need to buy any professional camera, anything like that. I was till like 2 videos before, I was just filming with my just my smartphone. Like you can legit shoot all the videos with your smartphone. No excuse about it. Sit with your smartphone. Just record stuff. Sit for 2 to 3 minutes, record stuff, and watch it back. It is so hard.
Again, it's so cringe. It's so cringe, and you notice the fine details of how you're talking. Because, like, the first
that's something crazy.
Again, if you don't have a very good mic, or you don't have, like, state-of-the-art noise cancellation like Discord and stuff, or, like, you don't know how to remove noise from your video, you're gonna notice the smallest inflections that your mouth does. like lip smacking, P bombs, B bombs.
P-bombs,
And you're
B-bomb,
gonna cringe.
and breathing is also a different thing. Like when you
Yup,
speak in real life,
yup.
you don't notice that you're breathing, but it's like, oh, I don't even know if that audio came on the microphone.
Probably won't even pick up.
Yeah.
Again, but you notice like lip smacks, which are super annoying. I would say P bombs and B bombs are like, oh, it's just your let's just say your audio peaking for
Yeah.
a bit. That's it. Lip smacks, if you don't have a very good noise suppression system, they are super annoying to sit through. Super annoying.
For sure. 100%.
And like you have to keep yourself high. Again, like I looked up how to, let's just say, avoid lip smacks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep yourself hydrated, basically. That's the only thing you can do to naturally avoid it.
Yeah.
Either that, or you have to, let's just say, avoid it intentionally, which is very difficult. It's an acquired skill again.
Yeah.
And if you want to avoid it naturally, you have to hydrate your mouth, basically. Like keep it moist.
100%.
But again, you cannot keep it too moist. You cannot drink too much water. Because if you drink too much water, it's gonna, again, like your voice will sound like, again, like your voice
I
would
know
sound
you
like
cannot
moist
like
and
imitate
stuff.
and stuff, but it's like sounds
Yeah.
very plain, and it doesn't have that feel.
Again, if your lips are too moist, they're gonna smack a lot.
Yeah.
If they're too dry, they're gonna smack a lot. There's like
He's
fine
basically
line which you
going
have to
into
follow.
the TMI of what it feels like to make YouTube videos when you're just getting started. Even if you just do not show your face. Like,
Again,
these are problems that you will face 100%.
the thing about YouTube is it's such a prevalent career. Everybody wants to be a YouTuber. Everybody wants to be a content creator.
Yeah,
But
for sure,
there
100%.
are no courses, no academic degrees that teach you the nitty-gritty of what it means to be a YouTuber. There
Yeah.
are a million small things, millions of them, which again, like it's like fine tuning or like fine adjustments that you can do to make your life so much better. From like
For sure.
file organization to the thing that I mentioned about lip smacking and voice acting and stuff.
Yeah. And the crazy part about me is, like, I was just talking to him the other day, and I was like, I've been making videos for a decent time now, and I haven't kind of like gained the subscribers that I wanted to. And then I kind of like perused through my older videos, and I was looking through it. I was like, I haven't really made even a single video that
That's worth
justifies
subscribing. Yep.
that justifies myself having, a lot of subscribers. A lot meaning 20,000, 100,000, maybe that's a million for some people out there.
Again,
But
the best benchmark, the best benchmark you can use for anybody who wants to do this full time or professionally is, would you watch your video? Would you watch a video even after editing it, watching it once to just confirm everything is all right?
I sort of
uploading
disagree to that, but I'll just continue.
Yeah.
I'll say about it. Yeah.
Because when I made my videos, even after the initial, I cannot hear myself while recording stuff.
Yeah.
Even after I was passed through that, I still couldn't watch my video. I would just close the tab and like watch any other YouTuber who I found interesting.
Exactly.
So
And in
that
the
should
beginning
basically
phase,
be
it's
your
like so
benchmark.
important. Yeah, that's
But
basically your benchmark.
Again, like I convinced myself, oh, it's the YouTuber thinking. Like you cannot watch your videos after I edited it or watch it a bunch of time because it just becomes boring and stuff. But after the podcast started and I started making timestamps for this podcast,
Yeah.
I genuinely enjoyed watching like
The kind of
podcast.
conversations we have. Yeah.
Yup. It was genuinely interesting for me, and that's probably the only reason we have continued it this far without like any haste or like any burnouts and stuff.
Yeah.
Because
The same thing goes with me.
it's
Like,
very low key.
yeah.
It's very low key. All of us are calm. All of us are chill.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
That has happened with me specifically for the past two videos. The past video was the first video that I shot with this camera, and this is like the 7th, 8th video. I kind of like haven't, messed around with it that much. And the video that was before that, the video that I made about, gaming addiction and a bunch of stuff, even though that was shot on my smartphone, I loved that video. Like I was watching that video for the 3rd and 4th time, and my brother just popped in and he was like, why are you watching your video for the second, third time, and you're watching your own video? It's kind of stupid.
So it's narcissism. You would not understand.
Yeah.
It's narcissism.
Specifically the
you
last
would not
video,
understand.
that was like a 17-minute video, and I was completely engaged in it. I was hooked into it for like 12 minutes something seconds, and I was like, if I was a viewer, I would just sit through the entire video. And that's when I realized that if I work hard now, like my career on YouTube can just take off in a snap. Like all I need in just one video, and it will just like take my channel off. And like I have made videos for like the past, I would say, more than a year, so I have a decent catalog of videos to justify myself. And that's the same thing that I tell you all the time, right? Just go out, make 3 videos. For you don't have to struggle for an year. You will probably learn all of that stuff in like a month, because I'm there to help you. I know it all. How it feels to kind of like film stuff, record yourself, script through it. I know the entire workflow. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, remember you were sitting at my house the other day and you were blown away by the fact that how quickly I made that J cut. I was like, boom, 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 D-link, linked, and zoom in, and boom, J cut is done.
Basically, in like 15 minutes, he edited the whole podcast.
Yeah, actually. And I was kind of like explaining him a bunch of stuff along the way as well. If he wasn't there back then, it would have taken me a few minutes, even lesser than that. I would like 10, 12 minutes, something like that. And even for my main channel videos, like a rough cut is like my favorite part of making a video, and that's why I will make videos forever.
That's the worst part of making the video in my eyes.
Yeah.
The most repetitive stuff is like the most disliked by me, like let's just say.
I don't think it's repetitive. For me, making the rough cut is the best part of the video, even though it's like really, it's basically a grind. It's a chore. It's like a daily chore, if I were to put it that way. But the best part about it is the fact that you look at the raw footage, this footage that I'm filming in, and podcast is like fairly raw, I would say. You adjust the frame, make 3 cuts, zoom in, pan, zoom in, and like just zoomed in straight into your face, kind of like if you are getting into the way of something and you want to say something important, so you just zoom it all the way. 3 camera angles, you just distribute them in 3 video layers. You just like put it on top of that, make L cuts, J cuts all through the edit, color grade the footage, apply audio presets, edit the audio presets. And it takes about, like I would say, for a 20-minute video, it takes about an hour to do so. And the best part about all of this is the fact that you can look at something that was raw, and in a matter of an hour or so, it looks phenomenal. You're like, hey, I made something. And that feeling itself is the best part of doing YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It's like taking all the ingredients, doing something with it, and boom, something is ready. Like that kind of stuff. That's fun to me.
Yep. Yeah,
So,
I get what you're saying. Like
mhm.
just recording the video should not be your accomplishment.
Yeah.
Like having a finished final product that everybody can watch, and even you are enjoying yourself,
yeah.
should be your kind of your main goal. So
Yeah.
basically, completing a video should not be your accomplishment. Watching it and enjoying it should be your accomplishment. Like that's the goal you have to have in your mind. Let's just say.
Yeah. A similar thing also Casey Neistat said, back in a film festival in 2000, I think it was 17. He was sitting with the audience, kind of like chill. He was not talking the way he talks in his YouTube videos. He was like swearing and stuff, and he was like very real, I would say, in that moment. And he was talking to this guy, and he was like, Casey, can you give me some advice on filmmaking? I'm going to NYU, blah blah blah. I think the video kind of like started with that. It was a reputed film school. The guy was going to a reputed film school, and he asked Casey what advice he had. And he was like, for him, the main part of the video is the editing. He would say, I would ask reputable filmmakers, whether it's indie filmmakers or like mainstream filmmakers, like he would ask them all the time, is this particular video done? And they would be like, yeah, this video is done. And I was like, the only thing that we need to do is just edit this video. And Casey said, I say them on face, like right on their face, you haven't done any fucking thing. Editing is everything that you do not see. That's everything. For me now, like I watch YouTube videos, I can tell what has been done. I can tell where the L cuts and J cuts. Of course, like you can tell a fair bit of that. You can say like, hey, this is title animation, this is crop zoom in effect, the audio faded away, blah blah blah. But I can also see through the editing.
Yeah, the thing about editing and even VFX and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
the best accomplishment or like badge of honor that you can give an editor or like a VFX artist is, I did not notice anything.
Exactly.
That's the biggest accomplishment you can give them, because the whole point of even like VFX, 3D, CGI, and like normal basic cutting of video is all about making making the video or like whatever you're watching as seamless as possible.
Exactly.
So if an audience member is watching let's just say a film or like a YouTube video, and they don't notice anything, like nothing takes them out of the situation, nothing takes the immersion out, nothing breaks the immersion, that's the best case scenario for like any editor or like VFX artist.
Filmmaker. Exactly. I understand what you're saying. And that kind of stuff, I think, goes with almost everything. Anything artistic, whether you look at a painting, you don't know what all details a professional, artist can see. But when you look at that stuff, you have like an insane amount of appreciation for it. Like I watch Peter McKinnon's video now, and I'm like, because I have a camera even now, I know how specific stuff is. Like you see a B-roll shot, like a shot of him, working, and it's a panning shot. You realize that this guy had like everything, lighting situation set up, everything was in focus, and he was panning the camera. He brought that footage, color graded that footage, did all sorts of fancy slow motion stuff with it, added a transition, did a bunch of stuff for like the 2 second of clip that you just saw and you wouldn't even remember. So you kind of like develop an insane amount of appreciation. And have you watched like Matt D'Avella? Just a random question. Have you seen Matt D'Avella's filmmaking style? I haven't noticed it, like just out of curiosity. I don't know how closely I've noticed it, but for me, in the past couple of months, I've been watching a few YouTubers and stuff because I'm like, hey, I have a camera now. Again, I can do a bunch of stuff.
Every Matt D'Avella video that I've seen is
basically a movie.
You showing me, you showing me Matt D'Avella's videos.
Okay, then you haven't seen Matt D'Avella, I guess. I'll show you.
Sure, like a couple videos, I would say.
Yeah, I'll show you Matt D'Avella in the free time. But for me, what I was doing was I was watching my favorite YouTubers and kind of like noticing their style, because now with the camera and stuff, like I can literally do anything. Like no joke. I can go outside, film a bunch of stuff, go crazy with it. All sorts of cinematic stuff. Of course, it's not like a proper, cinema camera, but it can do almost everything now. So, coming back to the conversation. I was watching Captain Sinbad, which is one of my favorite YouTubers at any particular point.
Yeah.
Casey Neistat.
I watch his stuff.
Yeah. Then I would say Casey Neistat. I did not watch Casey Neistat because I've already watched Casey Neistat like a plethora of times, about like 800 of his vlogs. Like I've watched most of them. I was watching a couple of Peter McKinnon videos, but mostly I was watching Captain Sinbad and Matt D'Avella. So what I noticed about Matt D'Avella, and that is such an important lesson for anybody out there who wants to start a YouTube channel. Maybe you get convinced by the end of this video to start your own YouTube channel again. The thing that was so impressive was that in every single Matt D'Avella's video, he did not say anything new as such. 85% of the stuff that Matt D'Avella talked about or still talks about was something that I already knew of. Like, for example, habits. He starts with a story of him messing up with habits and how he's not habitual through anything. He will start that video, mention a few problems, get into the nitty-gritty, mention a few solutions, kind of like critique a bunch of stuff, and then end the video. That's like normal stuff. We all know it, it's a well put together script. That's fine. I think it's understandable. Even I can do it to a fair degree because I make YouTube videos. But the stuff that blows my mind is him switching perspectives. He would have this sitting camera, this is by the way called A-roll. I thought I was not going to use this term, but since we're kind of like digging in deeper into the nitty-gritty, this is known as A-roll. You fix your point and shoot camera or your DSLR or your film camera, whatever you want to use, fix it to one spot. It's A-roll. He uses A-roll, then he'll kind of like pick up this camera, go outside, vlog a bunch of stuff. Then he sort of like has drone footage. Then he has GoPro footage. Then he has a comedy skit maybe in between. Then he has like fancy B-roll. Then he has him doing a bunch of stuff. And he switches back and forth between all of these things. For me, it never felt like I was watching a YouTube video. You know what I'm saying? Every single video that I watch of Matt D'Avella now literally feels like a movie. Everything. Like literally everything. I don't know how far you can lead up to that, but for me now, like that's such an important aspect. And I just want to do a bunch of stuff in that
making
regard.
your stuff as cinematic as possible.
It's not necessarily about even cinematic stuff. It's rather about the fact that he's like switching perspectives so fast that you're like so hooked
like,
into the story.
Maybe like not like visually visually making it cinematic, but making it cinematic as in a form of story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I understand.
And he has like this $300 course. It sits around to be a $300, and I can get a off on that as well because we live in India. He has like 66% off, something like that. And the moment I have some money saved up, I like straight up buy his course. I'm just so convinced. Like I'm not even kidding. I just want to learn the stuff. If he teaches me two things, how he plans doing all of this and how he edits all of this, I'm all hooked in. I would just pay for that kind of course. So for me now,
sure, like the thing that I mentioned about nobody teaching you about the nitty-gritty stuff.
Because for me, I have learned all of these things to a very hard way. And you know what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, like
countless number of hours editing in front of my computer.
That's like the way of the YouTubers. Like, you have to learn through trial and error. That's it. Like, currently, there is no, let's just say, in regards to like everything, managing your YouTube, the SEO stuff, and the editing stuff, the recording stuff, the management stuff, the planning part, everything is, for every YouTuber, is tied to, let's just say, trial and error.
Yeah, 100%.
That's it.
But I think
like
some people
or like hit or miss.
Yeah, I think, but some people know it better than we do. Remember, we were talking about Peter McKinnon the other day, and I was talking like
I would say like Peter McKinnon
is an exception, insane exception.
Not even like an exception. Like, of course, I would say like he had a single domain covered, absolutely covered.
Yeah.
Like even I would say like the managing stuff, like video management stuff, how you manage your footage. That's a big thing because if you don't manage it efficiently, you're gonna run out of space very, very soon.
Absolutely. Doesn't
Especially
matter how
if you
much
don't
stuff
have, like,
you have.
If you have like a proper, if you don't have, again, like there's exception to every rule. Either you can manage your stuff like we do, or you can just spend a shitload of money and buy like a proper server rack. Which again we plan to do. Hopefully.
Yeah, but even with like, let's say if you have a 4 terabyte storage, like SSD is one on top of the other in a computer, you're just gonna eventually run out of that. Because
that's why management is important.
Because the matter of fact is that with this YouTube stuff, especially like me having my own channel, then us having a podcast, then me even starting my other channel, me doing a 40-minute talking head on this camera is like 25 gigabytes easy. Use 25 gigabytes. You stack up that footage, keep stacking up. You have audio files, you have screen recording, you have a bunch of stuff. You just keep adding those things up. You realize a normal YouTube video easily sits in to be about 100 gigabytes. Doesn't matter you do 4K or 6K, 8K, even 1080p sits close to that.
Again, like
so managing is a crucial part.
Like things just keep adding.
Yeah.
Your assets, your audio files, your video files, your project cache.
Yeah.
If you make it optimized media,
huge thing.
Huge. Yep.
Project cache. A lot of people
optimized media.
Yeah, a lot of people who are on the Mac side of spectrum, on the Apple side of the spectrum, who are, let's say, not very techie, and a vast majority of the people who use Apple are not very techie. Not making fun of them necessarily, but they don't know it. Remember, we were in the Apple store. They haven't been in the
trenches. They haven't been in the trenches as us.
Exactly. Remember, we were in the Apple store and I showed you Final Cut and I was like, Command Q, and boom, Final Cut shuts off. And he was like, oh, look at this guy, what a flex. Didn't even press Control S.
Yeah.
Where do you think all of that data goes? Think about it.
Clogging your temporary files.
Exactly. People don't even know it. And the crazy part about Final Cut is it does background rendering every 0.3 seconds by default. So you just make changes here and there, keep going on with those changes. It's like rendering in the background all of those changes and saving it at the very same instance. Also, DaVinci Resolve has it, but I've messed around with it.
DaVinci does that. But again, in DaVinci, it's, I hope even in Final Cut Pro, I don't know. I know nothing about Final Cut Pro.
I know of
Putting
to a
it
fair
out
degree.
there. Yeah, I don't know anything about Final Cut Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I hope again in DaVinci you can turn it off or like put it in smart render, user render, cache, smart cache, user cache, or like just turning off cache altogether.
It has.
I
a
hope
bunch
you
of
can
stuff
do
in
that in.
regard. Yeah, you can.
I hope you can do that in Final Cut also.
You can for sure. You can. There are options for that, but the matter of fact is that inside of DaVinci Resolve, they give you that option. I won't be getting into the nitty gritty and making this like a very nerdy conversation, but people on that side of the spectrum do not even know it. They edit a video and it's like their storage is running out of, memory. It's like you're out of storage. Storage is full. They don't even notice what is happening behind the scenes. For me, I have jumped into the nitty gritty, so I know it all. Like seriously, I know it all. So coming back to that conversation that we were having, what do you think for you sits out to be valuable? Let's say anything you want to buy. For me, it's like DaVinci Resolve Studio. I'm currently using the normal version of it.
What you want me to buy this for you?
No. Of course not.
Okay.
I'm kind of like giving you a rough idea, let's say, about the things that you can even buy, because this is the kind of stuff that I want to buy. Then it's a lighting.
Yeah, that I don't know why I missed like lighting last time I was watching this list.
Mm-hmm.
Why is lighting 10,000 rupees?
Oh, because I have a ring light right now. It's a very cheap ring light, and there's an upgrade for that would be spending 3,000-4,000 on a better ring light. But what I would rather do is, because my room is like fairly brightly lit, and even though I'm shooting this at night in like daylight, filming about like 5 p.m. somewhere around that 3, 4, 5 p.m. it's okay. But if I want to spend money on light, I would rather buy a soft box. You have seen that umbrella thing?
Sure. Yeah, but
that is very expensive.
Very bulky.
That's very bulky, and there's a bunch of stuff associated with that. So that's the reason it's there. But coming
again,
back,
like I would recommend you like to like buy like a
better
decently big, like the one that I have.
Exactly.
And
I will.
Just use like a
sure.
butter paper or like a deflector.
Yeah, for sure.
Like currently I'm using a butter paper.
This is running fine, even though right now I'm not even using the ring light. In my normal everyday videos, I use the ring light. It sort of like gives you this shade on left side. Otherwise, it's like light from this side, then you have a trend layer
again,
throwing a little bit of light.
Lighting is something, again, I like to classify these things that the thing that I never knew I wanted.
Exactly. Now I know how much I want.
I never even considered. Like it's something like I never even considered was important. Like lighting is very up there. Again, another thing. It's a very common issue. It's going bit off, like taking it off a bit.
Sure.
Sort of like a big tangent.
Go ahead.
I have been approached by so many of my friends ever since like 9th grade, 10th grade. Hey man, can you edit this photo for my Instagram and stuff?
That still happens with me.
And people don't seem to understand. Like, especially, let's just say, when was this?
I know in which particular direction this conversation would go.
MUN. Like, I hope if somebody's watching here, they know what MUN is. Okay, I was like, briefly summarizing, MUN was sort of like a competition that happened in our school, where we just like tried to replicate the model, like the United Nations Council and stuff.
For sure.
Where students used to come in as delegates of like countries and stuff, not like actual delegates, but like representing them, like model, like a dummy, like a model United Nations. So, okay. So.
For sure.
I was in the international press, the IP, and we used to cover a lot of stuff. Our job is to cover stuff. Okay. The best thing about IP is we had a lot of photographers, and none of them knew how to operate a camera. Nothing new. Absolutely nothing new.
Dude.
So this guy this guy comes around, goes, "Hey man, do you know any photographers in like the photography department?" I said, "Sure." "Yeah man, I need some photos for my Instagram and stuff." I said, "Sure. Let's go to the photography department." Like we just let's just say I knew a guy who knew a guy who was working in the photography department, like the head of the photography department, and I went like, "Hey man, like can we borrow just one photographer for like a bit?" He said, "Sure." Everybody does that, nothing new. We go around, we snap a few pics, we show him the pictures, and he goes, "It doesn't look that good." I said, "What do you mean by that?" He goes, pulls up his Instagram, goes to like a photographer's page, a proper photographer. He goes to his page and shows me this studio, like this photo was 100% taken in a studio.
100%.
A model in a studio with proper lightings and a way more expensive camera. And the most important stuff, a photographer that knows how to use that camera.
Exactly.
He went, "Hey man, can you do something like this?" I just went straight to his face, said, "Hey man, give me like 1 lakh rupees and this would be done." Why do you think photo shoots take a lot of money?
Give me 10,000, I'll do it.
Again,
because
like I was using like a hyperbole and stuff, not like literally. And
but the matter of fact,
what do you think? Why do photo shoots cost so much money?
Exactly.
Like single photo shoot will like run you around in India, even in India. The cheapest photo shoot will run you somewhere around
50,000.
50 to 1 lakh rupees. And if you can take it a lot higher.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're doing like celeb photo shoots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just went, took that image, went into Photoshop, because back I bought my laptops and stuff. I went into Photoshop, edited his image then and there, and gave it to him. He was like, "Thanks man, now the image looks good." I'm like, "Of course it does." I want
also
people live with this delusion, like you just having a camera means you can do anything.
Yeah.
I don't know why people think this.
Also, the fact is that if you look
like
at a
I
photo,
want every Instagram photographer, like something like, let's just say, No Nut November, stuff like that. Like we should have like
a raw photo.
No edit Tuesday, like no edit August, something like that. Like no edit July, something like that. Where every photographer on Instagram posts the raw image. Unchanged, and then people will notice, oh, the real stuff happens while editing.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Yeah, I just want that to be a reality. Or like just post the original image that you took raw straight out of the camera, and basically a before and after editing.
Absolutely.
Because
100%.
people just don't appreciate the art of editing.
Absolutely, 100%. I agree with what you're saying. And the thing is, if you look at a guy's Instagram or a celebrity's Instagram, I would say everything in that picture is fake. So never think to yourself that why they'll,
Again,
people on the internet look so pretty.
Should I show this stuff? Because if I show this stuff, people's minds are gonna be blown.
Which stuff?
Again, maybe I should record this, or maybe should I not record this?
Which
it's
stuff?
Your call, Deergh.
You can mention it. Which stuff you want to mention about?
Again, like I can show it to you, but like I will send you if you want to include this in the podcast.
If that's a big thing, then we can do it in
it's a very
episode.
small thing. It's a very small thing.
Okay, he's sharing his screen. Let's go over there for a second.
Sure thing. Can you see my screen though?
For sure, 100%.
Yeah, like I will re-record it using OBS and stuff. And then you can
no worries, no problem whatsoever.
I don't know if you know about this feature or not.
Which feature?
Hope you know.
Inside of
Photoshop. Do you know about this feature?
Are you recording your own screen at the moment?
No. Like I am, but it's like I'm doing like OBS recording and stuff. So most likely people won't see this stuff because these are like thumbnails and stuff that I make on Photoshop.
Don't worry,
stuff.
I'm recording my screen. Don't worry about it.
Okay, are you recording the screen? Okay, so this is the OG days of YouTube. This is gonna be I have scheduled this video for Thursday, and this is my image. So the thing about Photoshop is you can actually, like, how should I even put this? You can actually make a new person in Photoshop. Hands down.
For sure.
I'll take this image. Okay. I'll go in, liquefy. Now, Deergh, tell me about this. I'm doing a photo shoot and my model randomly decides that he's not gonna smile that day. What are you gonna do?
Make him smile inside Photoshop.
Absolutely.
I can see where you're going.
You see this?
Oh, dude.
You can adjust the... It's basically a character creator in any modern game.
Can you do that again for a second? Like, I want people to see it.
Yeah.
Oh, can you see
Again.
the nose moving? It is fucking crazy.
Yeah. Again, like, people who say, like, editing does not matter. Man, you're so much in... Again, you can make it look very wonky and stuff. But realistically, you probably won't even do it.
I have seen it, but I never thought that you could... I thought you could only, like, tweak the things here and there just
again,
a little bit.
Can... Again, back in those days, you probably do this. You'll probably do this manually using clone stamp tool, smudge tool,
no, I would not do it using clone stamp is a hell of a mess. It's a mess. Like, you would literally have to recreate everything in that sense.
Again, you can actually make a person that is frowning smile. How cool is that?
And by the way, this is not new stuff. This was even available in like CC 2017 as far as I'm aware. So this is pretty old.
Again, like, you know how like in like that Maybelline New York and like cosmetic stuff, people have like in advertisement stuff, people have a little bit like they have very profound lips and stuff. Yeah, this is the reason why they have profound lips.
Yeah, that is something that I was mentioning. If you see anybody on Instagram,
like when people say, "Oh, AI is gonna take your job," no, man, AI has already taken our job. Okay, this is like not me. I have not detected this face. Photoshop has automatically detected this face. Okay, you wanna do something big brain? Yeah, it's big brain time.
Dude.
I can instantly grow your forehead.
It's kind of crazy. So the thing that I was mentioning was, you see somebody on Instagram, let's say.
Yeah, I can make you thin. I can make you like, if you're watching, I can make you like crippled
I'm
thin.
looking at
like
stuff. But
you have anemia.
He's
stuff.
having fun messing up with that particular image. But the thing that I was saying was, if you look at somebody on Instagram, you kind of like have to notice that particular model or celebrity went through all sorts of cosmetic changes. You know, you can get a nose job. You don't like your teeth? Replaced. Boom. Lips. Everything. Then
again, why would you do that? Why would you do that when you can do this?
But also like reality stuff. People want to look beautiful and youthful. Youthful is an important thing. Even people in their 40s want to look as if they're in their mid 20s, let's say. But anyways, the matter of fact is they have all sort of cosmetic surgeries. Then they have so much makeup, layers and layers of makeup. Then they have a proper photographer with proper lighting who knows how to use all of that stuff, and even then all of those images goes into Lightroom as well as Photoshop. Inside of Photoshop they clean every single little detail, and inside of Lightroom they mess up with everything, and you'll see a clean beautiful image. You're like, oh, that person looks beautiful.
Again, like
it's not
if you're still recording. Yeah, like exactly, just watch this. This is me a little bit chubby on the again, like technically, you wouldn't consider me chubby, but my face is a bit chubby. Fixed.
Okay. Fixed, absolutely.
In like 5 seconds, fixed.
Yeah. Fixed, actually. This is a huge difference from a cosmetic perspective.
Yeah, like if I went to like a plastic surgeon and said, "Hey man, this is what I look like. Or this is what I look like. And this is what I want." He would say, okay. Sure, $500,000 advance. The rest you'll pay after surgery.
It's kind of crazy in which particular direction we are heading in at the moment. It's kind of crazy thinking about it. Specifically with girls, I've noticed a lot of girls on Instagram is like, oh, that girl looks pretty, and when I see her in real life, I'm like,
again, like if I showed you,
so
like
different.
Again, like probably they just blur this stuff because like I'm gonna like again
I would not even show the screen at that point.
Sure, just like do not show the screen, okay? Just do not
Okay.
show the screen.
Don't worry. I
Again,
would not
this
show
is
the
the
screen.
image. I think this is the image, or like its close relative.
Yeah.
Yep, this is the image. Again, like
Yeah.
I should not compare it here. I should probably compare it here. Paste.
Yeah. The layer should at the top, yeah. And
Yeah.
adjust it.
Yeah, so I think you can probably see like where the difference lies. This image
Everything
is all
about the image is changed.
Yep, this image is all fucked up. The
And
image is blurry. You can see
I'm
the
not
ring
sure
light
how
in
much
my
of that you can
eyes.
see on the camera because I am streaming through his screen and that
You don't
this particular
worry,
video
don't.
is going on the editing software. Editing software also compress it. You are watching this on your own computer screen. That will also, mess with the color and stuff. But first hand looking at all of these things is kind of a bit ridiculous, you can sort of say.
Absolutely. Like, what the hell, man? I don't want to change the opacity. Fuck you, Photoshop. For some reason, Photoshops want me to change the opacity of this stuff. Yep. Can you see the difference?
Yeah. The skin tones are changed.
The
Everything
skin tones
is-
are entirely different. My teeth, again, I haven't went like
Crazy
I
with your
haven't,
teeth,
like-
but yeah, I can understand what you have done.
no. I haven't like went to the I haven't been to a
Dentist.
dentist since like
Mm-hmm.
6 months. I would a year, almost a year. There are all wrinkles on my stuff. The light is, again, my skin is super oily, and like you can see the difference.
Absolutely, 100%.
Again, it's probably not the exact same image because I have the same image in like 5 or 6 iterations, but it was captured all in the same time frame.
For sure, I can understand what you're saying.
Yes, like-
This stuff for me is kind of crazy.
When
to be
people
honest.
go, like, again, like putting it out there, when people go and say, oh, like this Instagram model has like looks super healthy, she has an amazing body, or like he has an amazing body, and people said this is unrealistic expectation for themselves.
Mhm.
Like I want to have this body of like a Greek god and stuff. It's just not possible.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely not possible.
Every single bodybuilder that I know of, and gym guys would kill me when I say this. Every single bodybuilder takes steroids.
Again, that's not even like that's like the health. I would say not even the health.
But I'm
The-
saying they use fake stuff to look that
Yeah,
way, and that
Again,
kind of
like
body
almost
is
everything
not
they use is kind of artificial.
exactly,
Everything, almost
and
everything.
that is not sustainable. Like my job is not being a bodybuilder, to be honest. Like I can go to the gym and have, a good chest and a good shoulders that are well defined and stuff, but I cannot look like that on a given day. Like if I train myself for like 6 years, something crazy like that, then I'll probably look like that. And still, like, there's no guarantee. There's like good genetics. Everything has to be a part of that. Then something like that happens. But anyways, coming back to the conversation, is there anything specific?
Yeah, have you
talk about?
recorded everything?
Yeah, for sure, everything is recorded. Don't
Okay, just
worry.
crop it. Nobody cares about the resolution and stuff. Just crop it.
Don't worry. I'm all cool
just be
about
careful not to show like my Windows Explorer and stuff.
Yeah,
That's
this video for me would be one heck of a job for editing because I've showed the screen twice.
Yep.
So this video is gonna kill me as far as editing stuff is concerned. But anyways, anything else you want to talk about? I think I want to keep the podcast format to this particular point only. I was just talking to him this day, I think. Yeah, this
Yeah.
day. We just went out for a walk and I was talking to him like, I just want to keep podcast a little short. Up to like 45-minute mark is ideal. 45 minute, 47, 49, 50, 51. Somewhere around that is
an hour.
maximum an hour, not more than that. Because sometimes you kind of like go crazy when we are like deep down into the conversation. So
Yeah,
Are
but
you
again, if that happens, we're gonna keep it. We are not just gonna cut short the content. But
Yeah,
only if that happens naturally.
naturally,
No, we are not
because
gonna,
for
like-
us, specifically for me,
Yeah.
I lose my energy after the 1 hour mark, and you can clearly see it in almost every single episode
Yes,
if you
like-
peruse through.
I was also discussing this with this is like a conversation we had like multiple times. Like,
Mhm.
hey, do you want to stream in the future? In the foreseeable future? He was like, no, man. I cannot even go past like the 1 hour mark. How do you
Yeah.
expect me to stream and like keep a live audience entertained?
I can live stream if I have gained fame
Somebody
in
to-
the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even that. Like if I wanna like live stream and stuff, I
Mhm.
need somebody to like bounce off me.
Absolutely.
You understand? Like
For
I
sure.
need somebody who I can have a conversation with, who I can bounce off with.
Absolutely. Just going on completely by yourself is one heck of a job.
Yep.
I have insane respect for streamers in that regard. How can you just go alone and talk
And
for hours?
streamers, yeah, like streamers are super hardcore.
Yeah, they go
Super
crazy.
hardcore.
They go like, I don't even know, like 60 hours a week.
60
That's like-
hours. Yep. Like XQC.
I know
XQC is the currently the top streamer in Twitch.
Mhm.
This man has streamed like a third. No, what? It wasn't even a third. It was like something like 40% of a year in hours he has streamed. This man XQC, all he does is everything he does. He wakes up, streams,
Yeah.
shut down his PC.
Uh-huh.
I don't think he even shut down his PC. Goes to sleep. Wake up,
But
grind,
most people,
repeat.
I've seen most people do not shut off their PC. Like we have this habit, it's like, oh, it's gonna use electricity, you know, Indian mindset and stuff. So you like shut it down. Otherwise, most people don't just shut it off. Anyways, I was having this to kind of like end this up. I was having this conversation with my dad, and kind of like it goes in synchronization with the conversation we are having out with streamers, that they start their day off with streaming, end their day off with streaming. And I was talking to my dad
Absolutely.
just today, and I was having this conversation like, I am like making YouTube videos and stuff, and I would like to see a financial return from it in the future. I'm not saying like I want $10,000 a month of income from tomorrow. Like I'm just saying like in a few years from now, I would just want some income so I
like,
can justify
at least
it.
make it sustainable. Like at
Yeah,
least
make it
not
sustainable.
like even that. Like not even sustainable, justifiable. Which is like a step below.
Just to make my ends meet, like that kind of income. So he was telling me that you will eventually get bored of it. Like just sit 3 months and keep making videos one after the other, just like 12 hours a day. And I was like, he was right in some sense. Like burnout is a real thing. Burnout is seriously a
Yeah.
real thing. So I'm not sure in which particular territory streamers even play. I think only Dr. K has mentioned about mental health stuff. You know, he has invited
Yeah,
a
like
bunch of guests.
everything he does is centered. Everything he does is centered around, because he is a certified psychiatrist, I think.
Yeah, psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about him is the fact that when he mentions, and I think I watched the Pokemon episode. I think you only showed me that episode where, you know, he was talking to a bunch of streamers. I think I watched 2 or 3 of his episodes, but I specifically remember the Pokemon episode because I never knew about Pokemon. I've only seen her in memes because a lot of his audience is like simp and stuff, and you have memes around that.
Yeah, like a lot of drama surrounds Pokemon.
Yeah, a lot
it.
of drama surrounds Pokemon. But I haven't like watched Pokemon as such, to be honest. I'm not even aware. I've never
never watched
went down-
any streamer. I have never watched any streamer live.
Yeah. I've only
Because
watched Hasanabi.
Mostly, no, not even that. Because again, I have watched some VODs and like
Mhm.
edited, cut shorted videos.
Yeah.
But I've never watched a streamer live because mostly
Yeah, I have same.
even if I wanna watch, I either don't have the time or the time zones don't overlap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing that I was talking about was the fact that Pokemon in that particular episode, when she opened about her mental health and stuff, and I haven't watched that entire podcast. That was like 2 hours long, something like that. I was sitting for like 30-40 minutes. Pokemon started crying and stuff and talked about her story and her side of the spectrum and how her life behind the scenes is going. And when you watch somebody on the internet, you can never even imagine what that particular person is going through until they open up about it. It's so
Yep.
crazy. You feel like you have this relation with that, and some people call it like parasocial relation, I suppose. But the matter of fact is you are still not a part of their life. Doesn't matter how much you know about them. It's so weird. Face to face and physical conversations is a completely different thing versus, you know, going crazy about it. I think that's a good note to end this episode. I hope you agree on that.
Yep.
We are filming
sure.
for about I would say an hour 5 minute 11 seconds, somewhere around an hour, so that would be around 50-55 minutes.
Yeah, like the 1 hour mark, we are in the triple digits now, like the triple.
Yeah. So
like
I
the
would like
hours.
to end this particular episode right over here. It seems like a good spot. So yeah, this is enough for this episode. I think that's pretty much it. This was episode 13. We'll catch you guys next week with some interesting conversation. If you have any ideas, you can drop them down in the comments. You can also consider checking out our individual channels. I upload on my...
Not mine.
Yeah, he is not uploading. I'm convincing him to upload a bunch of stuff. But as of now, he's not uploading. You can check out my content on my channel as well. But as of now, that's pretty much it for this particular podcast episode. We'll catch you guys next week. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.